AC Wimmer, the editor-in-chief of CNA Deutsch, the German-language arm of the Catholic news agency, joins us now to talk about the latest stories out of the Vatican. AC, thank you for joining us. This German synodal path has pushed several controversial ideas. What are you hearing from church leaders in Germany in response to Parolin's letter?
Hi, Montse. It's great to be with you. We're hearing a lot, actually. Finally, some reactions coming both from the so-called progressive camp as from the so-called conservatives. In particular, Bishop Stefan Oster of Passau has come out saying, yes, unity is under threat among the German bishops, whilst those who are pushing for what has been resolved, they think, at the German synodal way, are of course saying that they need to continue with their reforms. And so you do have a picture of disunity forming and coming out. And there is an ongoing debate about this and how it might be damaging relationships, not only within Germany, but also with neighboring Poland, which is a crucial and sensitive relationship, and of course with the Church in Rome.
Yes, and so bishops in Germany, when you talk about that lack of cohesiveness, they have said that they want to set up their own synodal council to govern the Church in Germany, effectively negating the power of the Holy See. Are we anywhere near that being a reality?
Absolutely, and we're getting closer, Montse. That is quite alarming for observers, I imagine, also from Rome, but certainly to those that we've spoken to for CNA and CNA Deutsch. They're saying if that permanent synodal council is really going to happen, then it will no longer be commensurate with the sacramental structure of the Church. That is how the Vatican put it to the German bishops, who still seem to be bent on doing this, though.
Well, that's something we'll be watching for January. But in other Vatican news, after a week of rumors, multiple sources have reported that Pope Francis will be removing Cardinal Raymond Burke's Vatican appointment and salary. The Cardinal has been a frequent critic of Pope Francis's policies. Has there been any confirmation of the reasons for what appears to be punishment?
Well, we've had papal biographer Austin Ivory saying that he had spoken to the Holy Father about this and that, yes, it was because... So we hear, this is purported, of course, the Pope designated Cardinal Burke as someone who was threatening church unity. And there you have unity again, Montse. So this is very pertinent also with a view to the situation in Germany, but also with the question of how the Vatican is communicating to bishops, to cardinals, and what kind of steps they're taking. It is creating a lot of, shall we say, interest also among German-speaking prelates across Europe, and even across the world. I've spoken to people in Australia saying, what is happening to Cardinal Burke? Why isn't it happening to the Germans?
Now, for some context, Christoph, Cardinal Burke's appointments are still there. He still votes in a conclave. He still has all of the authority that comes with that, just not these other privileges. Canon law does provide for disciplinary measures, but isn't it unusual to see this kind of a response that threatens the livelihood of a cardinal? Is this confirmed in any way that it'll actually happen?
Well, apparently it's confirmed by going by what Austin Ivory, the papal biographer, has said, not by what the official spokesman of the Vatican, Matteo Bruni, has said, Montse. So I think we can presume it will happen. But of course, you pointed to a very important question. What happens to a person if you take away their abode or their pay is one thing. The canonical question, in particular for also the Germans, is if they were to ordain women, as they've now more or less resolved at the German synodal way, they might actually be facing excommunication, a far more serious. And as you've pointed out, the consequence for Cardinal Burke may be that his livelihood may be in question, but his status as a cardinal remains absolutely resolved. He is, of course, a Catholic, a prelate, a cardinal of the Catholic Church.
Yes, someone who is coming in as a modern apostle. We will be looking to you for more on Cardinal Burke, of course, but on another notable move from the Vatican this week, Pope Francis added 11 new members to the Dicastery for the Laity, Family, and Life, including 2 married couples. What does this mean for the Vatican office?
Look, I think it's a very smart move to include people who are affected, who are living the vocation of being married, and it is the sort of witness that the Vatican has called for, that Pope Francis has called for, that the synodal processes have called for. The Synod on Synodality has spoken about this and has included, as we've reported, lay people to their processes as delegates, as voting members. So this might be a move that is commensurate with the overall moves that we've seen under the Francis pontificate of making sure that the people who are part and parcel of what the Church is doing here and are able to contribute to it in a meaningful way right there in Rome.
Well, we look forward to seeing what that means, too. Thank you so much, Christoph.
Thank you kindly.